Michael again. Today I want to talk about gender, and gender is a huge topic that covers a broad variety of things. And if I try to put them all into one video, I could literally be talking for days. So I'm going to make a series of videos, and today I want to talk about gender expression, which to me is both one of the most important and least important aspects of gender, which may not make a lot of sense right now, but hopefully it will by the end of this video. A lot of people, I think, mistakenly conflate gender expression and sexual orientation and gender expression or gender identity. And the reason why I think it's one of the least important aspects of gender is because it doesn't actually have anything to do with your orientation or your identity. But the reason why I think it's one of the most important aspects is because it's the first one that other people see. A lot of people express their gender in different ways on different days of the week. I'm actually a really good example of this. On some days, you might meet me like this, where my gender expression is considerably, not more masculine, but it's quite neutral. I don't look particularly feminine right now. But other days, if you met me on a day when I looked like this, your experience of meeting me and the assumptions that you would make about meeting me would be very, very different. Whether I express myself like this or this way means very, very little to me on that particular day, but means a lot to the people I'm meeting, especially to the people that I'm meeting for the first time. I think that it's fairly common for somebody to meet me on a day when I look like this and make assumptions about my sexual orientation or my romantic orientation. I think that it wouldn't be strange for somebody to maybe not assume, but think that I possibly might be a lesbian or a bisexual. It's considerably less surprising for people who meet me when I look like this to hear that I'm married to a man. Interesting because the way that you dress, the way that you do or don't wear makeup, the accessories that you choose are not the biggest part of gender expression, and they're certainly not the only part of gender expression. Gender expression has a lot to do with little things like the way that you use your hands when you talk, which apparently for me is a lot. You hold yourself, the way you talk, the tone of your voice, how you talk, the words that you use, the things that you talk about, how you express enthusiasm or excitement, your interests, all of those things are involved in gender expression. And gender expression doesn't fall in two camps. It's not like you either express in a feminine way or a masculine way. Just like every other aspect of gender and orientation, there is a huge spectrum of expression that you can fall on. And people can, throughout the day, express different areas of the spectrum. They can slide up and down and back and forth, and that, my hair, I need to stop messing with my hair. And that movement on the spectrum doesn't change their identity or their orientation or their personal experience of their expression. If somebody assumed that I was a lesbian or just thought that I was a lesbian on a day that I was dressed like this, I would probably be referred to as a lipstick lesbian because apparently the normal lesbian does not wear makeup, and so ones who do need some sort of special title. The way that you put clothes on your body or wear makeup on your body is not decided by your orientation. Your orientation doesn't control your style, and your identity doesn't control your style. My gender identity is always going to be very feminine, and my sexual orientation is always going to be pansexual. These things don't change just based on how other people perceive me, and that is something that people, especially people who are within the norm, the straight, heteroromantic, heterosexual, people who are within the gender binary and express themselves in a way that people tend to associate with the binary gender that they identify with, those people tend to have a really hard time understanding that every aspect of gender and orientation and identity is a spectrum. And just because they're easy to understand on the very edges of it doesn't mean that lots of other people don't fall everywhere in between. I was talking to a friend of mine. I'm going to learn to stop messing with my hair because it's really obnoxious to me. I don't know about you. I was talking to a friend of mine not that long ago, and she was telling me a story about her boyfriend who was asked by somebody whether or not they thought that gay men could be in the trades. And his response, to her surprise, was, "Do you think they can handle it?" And the problem that her boyfriend was having was the misunderstanding about orientation and identity and expression. In his mind, a gay man was somebody who had a very female or feminine gender expression. And in his mind, a feminine gender expression denoted weakness or fairness, like that being related to the fairer sex. My friend's response was, "How do you know there aren't gay men on your site already?" Probably there are gay men on his site who either aren't actively out, because being a gay man in construction would probably be challenging, or are out and he just hasn't cared to ask because he's gone and assumed they're all straight, because, straight is the norm, the baseline that everybody just lands on.